From bone-crushing hits to devastating injuries, these are the most brutal hits in NFL history. First up, we've got a play where an offensive player got the opportunity to inflict some pain on the defense. In a play that showcased the tenacity of big men on the move, Damian McIntosh, an offensive lineman, turned into a human bulldozer. With the ball in his teammates' hands, McIntosh sprinted downfield and collided with not one, but two Dolphins defenders. McIntosh's determination propelled him forward, leaving the defenders sprawled on the field like discarded toys. McIntosh paved the way for a big-time play, and this next player stopped a big-time player in his tracks. Vontaze Burfict has earned himself a reputation as one of the dirtiest players in NFL history, and he did so with crazy hits like this one here. Antonio Brown was coming across the middle of the field when Burfict lit him up with a nasty headshot. Some say that AB was never the same again after that hit. But don't worry, Burfict got what he deserved on this next play. Antonio Brown's Steelers teammate Juju Smith-Schuster didn't pass up his opportunity to clobber Vontaze Burfict. Not only did he rock him with a nasty hit, he then taunted his flattened body. Now that's some cold karma right there. Sometimes these huge hits can completely change the outcome of a game, but this next hit made a longer lasting impact on football. When Mo Lewis slammed into Drew Bledsoe, the Patriots quarterback, the NFL changed forever. Lewis rocked Bledsoe, who crumbled to the ground. And believe it or not, that monstrous hit spelled the beginning of the Tom Brady era. It was a collision that reshaped football history, and we bet Drew Bledsoe doesn't even remember it. It's okay, we all forget about some of these crazy NFL moments. But that's why you should like this video and subscribe to our channel, so we can remind you of these insane NFL plays. Like when this top receiver got pulverized. Chad Johnson was known for his flamboyance and wild touchdown dances, but on this play, he got crushed. Crossing the field, Johnson was met by Brian Russell's hit that sent him straight into La La Land. His body was left on the field looking like a sorry pile of mashed potatoes. Johnson couldn't avoid that hit, but up next is a player that probably regrets returning a punt out of the end zone. Chris Henry's decision to return a kick turned into a painful lesson when he met Darrell Reed, a Titans special teams player. The hit was like a lightning bolt, electrifying the field with the force of impact. Henry's momentum was halted, his body sent sprawling by Reed's ruthless hit. The impact of the two players running at full speed was like watching a head-on collision car accident. And on this play, Chris Henry was totaled. Speaking of totaled, this next play totally ended the Ravens' chance of winning a Super Bowl. In the 2009 AFC Championship game, Ryan Clark, a relentless safety for the Steelers, unloaded on Willis McGahee. The impact was so thunderous that both players were left down on the field. Clark eventually made his way to his feet, but McGahee was escorted off on a stretcher. The Steelers and Ravens had some of the toughest players and meanest rivalries in the early millennium. Up next is a crazy collision between two of the centerpieces of that rivalry. Hines Ward, a Steelers wide receiver, wasn't just about catching touchdowns, he dished out punishment too. With the Steelers dominating, Ward turned the tables on Ed Reed. Ward's block sent flying, flipping him like a pancake on a griddle. Reed was one of the biggest hitters in the NFL, but here, the safety got a taste of his own medicine. Speaking of medicine, up next is a quarterback that was probably loading up on painkillers after getting sacked by a maniac. Adrian Wilson was an embodiment of the violent side of NFL football. On this play, Wilson was sent after quarterback Trent Edwards on a blitz and thumped him good. Wilson's helmet met Trent Edwards with a ferocious hit. Edwards went down like a tree and he hit the ground with some serious impact. Timber! Some of these players knew no limits, and Sean Taylor was definitely one of those guys. The 2007 Pro Bowl is usually a showcase of skill, but Sean Taylor had no intention of playing soft. Brian Moorman, a punter, found himself in Taylor's sights after a fake punt attempt. Like a missile, Taylor launched into Moorman, sending shockwaves of impact rippling through the field. The play was a reminder that Sean Taylor only had one gear, and that gear was violent. And here is a play when a top wideout got crushed by two defenders at the same time. This next play could potentially be blamed on the quarterback. Kurt Warner threw a suicide pass up to Anquan Boldin in the end zone against the New York Jets. But Boldin's attempt to make a catch turned into a nightmare as he got sandwiched between two defenders. The impact was bone-rattling. Boldin's body crumpled, his helmet jostled, leaving him looking more like a pastrami sandwich than a football player. Warner put his receiver in a vulnerable spot. But in the NFL, all spots are dangerous, as proven by this next play. Next up is a play when TJ Houshmandzadeh was running to the sidelines trying to catch a short out. Typically, the outs are safe and the ins are dangerous. But this one was an exception to the rule. Hoosh held onto the ball, but David Barrett turned him into a human pinball. The impact sent him flying like a rubber ball off a wall. So many amazing players come and go in the NFL, but very few have the talent of this next linebacker. In a moment that looked like a mismatch, Willis, a superstar linebacker, met Smith head-on. The crash twisted Sam's body in half as he collapsed on the ground. Basically, Willis turned Brad Smith's body into a fold-up chair with incredible force. Maybe next time, Brad? Willis sure was incredible. But up next is a man who is arguably the greatest defensive player in NFL history. Ray Lewis is an absolute legend, and he made a name for himself on defense. However, on this play, he showed off his skills as a blocker in an unusual special teams moment. Jason Elam attempted a 57-yard field goal that came up short. As the kick fell short, Chris McAllister caught the ball and embarked on a 108-yard journey to the end zone. The play's success hinged on a Lewis's bone-jarring block that knocked a Broncos player out of the way. Lewis absolutely destroyed the poor guy. Never lose focus when Lewis is on the field, cause he's a menace. That poor player didn't stand a chance, but in other moments, it was the Broncos inflicting the pain. John Lynch, the Hall of Fame Broncos safety, met Dallas Clark, a Colts tight end, in an unfortunate encounter. As Clark caught a pass upfield, Lynch arrived with the thunderclap. The impact was brutal and his grasp on the ball loosened by Lynch's relentless hit. Then Reggie Wayne picked up the ball and started running before getting stripped. And then the Broncos defender picked up Wayne's fumble and took it all the way back for a ridiculous touchdown. However, Colts head coach Tony Dungy challenged the play, citing that Clark never had possession before getting annihilated. And the challenge was successful, so the play was ruled incomplete. Meanwhile, through this entire fiasco, Dallas Clark continued to lie on the field like a soulless body, feeling the wrath of John Lynch's monster hit. Tight ends might be big, but they've got to keep their head on a swivel because their safeties come hard. And no one came harder than Dawkins. Brian Dawkins is one of the most devastating hitters that the NFL has ever seen. And in the 2004 NFC Championship game, he got a chance to show off a bone-crushing hit. Michael Vick threw a ball to his tight end Algie Crumpler upfield, and Dawkins was right there to pop him like a balloon. Crumpler was a pretty big guy, but Dawkins was just nasty. These safeties are nuts, but we can't leave Jack Tatum out of our video, cause for those who remember, he was one of the most vicious NFL players of all time. In Super Bowl VII, Vikings receiver Sammy White leaped for a catch, but on his way down he encountered Jack Tatum, a Raiders defender known for his ferocity. Tatum rocked White, sending his helmet flying, but he still managed to secure the catch. Damn, these guys will do anything to win a Super Bowl. Up next is another player who has some serious guts. In his prime, Steven Jackson was one of the elite running backs in the NFL, and he proved it on this play. Going downfield for a pass, Sheldon Brown caught him with a vicious hit that knocked off his helmet. Jackson's body went flying and then he hit the ground hard, but the crowd didn't even have a moment to gasp. Jackson didn't just hold on to the ball, he popped right back to his feet to celebrate the play. Now that's tough. And Hines Ward is about as tough as they get. Ward once again makes it into our video with a devastating block on Keith Rivers. Rivers on defense might have forgotten that he was susceptible to a hit, and Ward, known for his grit as an offensive player, blindsided him. The block left Rivers injured and wondering what the hell just hit him. And last but not least was one of the nastiest injuries we've ever seen. When we talk about bone-crushing hits, Lawrence Taylor's gruesome hit on Joe Theismann can't be dismissed. The Redskins ran a little flea flicker trick play in an attempt to catch the Giants off guard. But Hall of Famer linebacker Lawrence Taylor wasn't buying it for a second. He stampeded into the backfield and absolutely blew up Redskins quarterback Joe Theismann from behind. And Theismann's leg was crushed so badly that he never played football again. There you have it. Those were the most brutal hits in NFL history. If you liked this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And check out the other videos up on your screen for more of our amazing NFL content.